All right, y'all, we are finished. Season 5 is in the books. It's in the books. What a wild one. You could tell Jocelyn, this might be Jocelyn's favorite season because you could tell she actually likes a lot of the girls, and I cannot say she's liked this many girls from the previous seasons. But yeah, this is one of the best seasons, like easily. It might be my favorite season though. It might be. I don't know. Season 2 and season 5, they right here with me. But yeah, thank y'all as always for rocking with me this season. I gotta thank y'all for sure. This is my first season doing Jocelyn's Cabaret. All of y'all that I've gained through it, I'm extremely appreciative. I'm glad y'all found me. We become like a little extra extended family. I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have helped me so much throughout the last 3 or 4 months now. So shout out to y'all. Subscribe if you're new here because we're gonna be back for season 6. When season 6 drops, I will be here. So I want y'all to be here with me. Thumbs up the video. Drop in the comments down below. We're gonna try and get through this. I have notes. I don't know. I haven't looked at them. I just typed and typed because I'm trying to watch these Grammys. But yeah, we're gonna try and get through it. But let's just do it. One last time. All right, so we get back to where we left off at, which was Hennessyy and Rosé screaming match. And Hennessyy ends up asking Neek if she gonna help Rosé out. Neek says that's between y'all, like, and that's what I would say too. She's like, that's your friend, but no, that's between y'all. But Neek then also says, let me ask you a question. Why did you choose to say something about Rosé on the bus whenever it started? Neek and y'all remember when Neek and Hennessyy first started their beef? When Hennessyy was on the bus and they was questioning her, pretty much trying to get her to turn on Rosé essentially, but then she ended up saying shit about Rosé. She was like, why did you say what you said about Rosé when you could have said something about Oceans when you fought her? She said, why did you say something about Rosé on the bus and not Oceans when you fought her? That's pretty much what I was about to say anyways. But Hennessyy ends up saying that she didn't know Oceans. I'm like, so y'all literally said coming into the season, though, that y'all didn't really know each other. Y'all just agreed to come in like this, but y'all didn't really know each other. So what's the difference between Oceans and Rosé? But Neek ends up saying, did I ever try to make y'all fight? Pretty much trying to clear her name. Like, I wasn't trying to make y'all fight. But Dani ends up chiming in saying yes. But Neek says, I never condoned them fighting. Rosé is screaming at Hennessyy is weird. Hennessyy screaming back. They screaming. I can't. And that was a lot of this episode. Which I tried to rewind it, but I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna type they screaming. I ain't got time. This is the last episode. But I couldn't make out what they were saying. But Janisha, she ended up saying, so what I'm getting is y'all had an agreement to come on this show, do what y'all had to do, get the money so y'all can split it. And Hennessyy pretty much agreed and said, like, she switched up on me. She changed when she saw that I was not fucking with it no more. And she pretty much like, yeah, she don't hate me, but like she changed. She switched up. But Rosé is saying that Hennessy's lying. Janisha says, are we gonna squash it? Like, what are we doing? Isis and Draya, they get up, trying to get them to shake hands, but Isis and Draya, they end up hugging. Rosé is now talking about how Hennessyy had begged to eat her you-know-what. Hennessyy saying that they never had anything sexual. They never did anything sexual. Rosé is denying it, saying that she flirted with her, trying to get her to fuck. Do I believe that? Probably, because Hennessyy, a lot of these women on this show, they're strippers. So first of all, a lot of strippers like women. Like, the strippers that are women like women. So I wouldn't put it past them. And they're beautiful girls. So, I mean, yeah, come on. But Hennessyy, she ends up saying, like, I never posted anything sexual about you. Because Rosé was saying that you posted it or whatever. She said, I never posted anything sexual about you. Rosé screaming, saying that she's doing all this lying, yada, yada, yada. Joseline, who was off stage, comes back on stage, breaks them up. Because Janisha could not handle it. So she breaks them up. Joseline says, I want to get down to something serious. She switches the conversation. I said, thank you, because the screaming was too much. She said from season 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, somebody has slandered my name and Ballistic, said that we were abusive, didn't treat the girls fairly. When that was a lie, that's not a lie. And she said, I got a bone to pick with Queen Envi. I said, the only season that y'all were decent was this season. Like, you had your moments, not as many as normal, but you had your moments. Ballistic was not on the screen, so good. We didn't get to see him acting a fool because he wasn't around them. But Envi wasn't lying. Queen Envi wasn't lying. Y'all were acting a fool on them previous seasons. Like, let's keep it real. But Joseline ends up saying, how dare you talk about us on a blog without knowing us? You're on a TV show. We're all doing it. We're all doing it. She just was dumb enough to come audition for the show. But she said, how are you going to say that we're abusive when you was around us? Just because you weren't to her in that moment doesn't mean that you aren't to other people. But she ends up saying, like, you were around us. We gave y'all shine and music to dance to, an opportunity to be seen. But I was like, she also said it before she got around y'all. So, like, she was only watching what y'all did. But Joseline ends up saying that she needs to apologize to Ballistic because she don't even know him and he ain't done nothing to any of these women on the stage. She starts walking over to Envi, pointing that finger. And Envi stands up, obviously, because as you should. Like, somebody walking up on you with that type of energy, you better stand up because they might hit you. But she starts standing up and Joseline tells her to sit back down, bitch. And what does she do? Sit back down. Couldn't be me. Could not be me. By the time, if Joseline was Ballistic coming at me like that, by the time he got up to me, this would have been up. And this would have been cocked. Because what? Who are you talking to? But Joseline ends up saying she's sick of them trying to play her and try her and says that Ballistic is a good man and he don't do shit to y'all bitches. She's pointing inches from her face. Pointing inches from her face. This was the one time the audience was wrong because they sitting there clapping like she preaching the gospel. Negative. But Envy's just sitting there taking it. Just taking it. Couldn't be me. But Joseline's walking around the room screaming, telling none of them, like, don't say shit about me or don't say shit about my man, da-da-da-da. And she said, like, y'all fucked me up. And it fucked me up when she said somebody was suing him for $25K, Amber, from season 3. And nobody stuck up for him. And I'm like, stuck up for him for what? We all saw what he did. What is there to stick up for, Joseline? But she ends up saying, I brought you on the show, talking about Envy, because I felt like you were needed as a BBW. And she says, for you to not tell me that you was talking shit about me and Ballistic, it's crazy. And Envy was like, it was 3 years ago and I didn't remember it. Envy, be for real. How do you go audition for a show that you did recaps on talking, you weren't talking shit because it was true. Allegedly, but true. I'm protecting myself. But how you gonna go on a show that you was talking about? That didn't make sense to me. Because if you saying all this about them, knowing that it's true, why would you want to go be on the show? That's number one. But number two, like how do you not remember that? That's bullshit. But Joseline said that's how dumb you are that you wouldn't remember. I'm like, no, but for real. Because how are you auditioning for a show? Crazy. But Envy then apologizes like a cornball, and she ends up saying, I don't play about you, Joseline, and you gave me this opportunity. Said you didn't treat me like that in person, and you're a powerful woman. Joseline said, I'm about to show, I ain't showed you yet, but I'm about to show you how powerful I am because I'm sick of y'all bitches playing with me. That made me laugh. But Envy, she's still pleading her case. Janisha ends up saying, like, how do you forget that? Janisha's like me. Like, how do you forget that? You auditioned for this show. Knowing that you said that shit on the internet, it doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, exactly, Janisha. But Envy ends up saying that she wouldn't put herself in that position knowingly. Shut up, Envy. Shut up. But Joseline, she's crying for real now. You can tell she's bothered by it. Crying, tears streaming down her face. Tells her to sit down, tells her she's done with her. Envy's still apologizing. Envy then moves on to Diamond, calling her a fat ass bitch. And Diamond ends up saying when the clip came out, Envy had told her that she was talking about the show, but Diamond didn't know that she was talking about the season, bashing that season that she was on. And Envy was saying that she didn't remember. So the same situation. But Envy ends up saying that she don't give a fuck what she said about Diamond. She gives a fuck about what she said about Joseline. And Envy ends up saying that she don't like how Diamond called her a fat ass bitch. Diamond says, you're bigger than me. I said, Diamond, you're closer to her weight class than you're not. So, like, you calling her a fat ass bitch, Envy should have said, you a fat ass bitch. It's like, what? But Envy ends up telling her to get up because Joseline walked away. She said, I'm sick of him. Envy tells Diamond to get up, and they start fighting. Both of them swinging. Envy ends up flipping Diamond on her back, and it's just swinging hella fast. Like this. Just swinging like that. And she missed a couple, but she landed a couple. But security ends up pulling them apart. Apparently, the audience was calling Diamond big. The audience, boy, this audience is goated. I literally said it on my community page. They are goated. The rest of this episode, they had me hollering, yo. Hollering. But they apparently had called Diamond big. And she's screaming, let's jump on the scale. Let's jump on the scale. Talking about my daughter's not even 1. Pretty much saying like, yeah, I haven't lost all the weight yet because my child, come on. You can't sit here and call her a fat ass bitch and be mad that they calling you big. Like, you can't do that. But Diamond, she's bothered by the fans going back and forth with a fan, and the fan that was in the audience was trolling. I'm about to get to it. But Janisha ends up asking Diamond about the beef that she had with Envi, and she says Envy's just mad because she got told off and needed a moment. That is probably true. I ain't gonna lie. It is. But the audience still picking with Diamond, and she's triggered. Mad. Big mad. But the audience member, she was wearing green. She says, you needed a moment. You needed a moment. And she was trolling the way she was saying it. You could tell she didn't care. You could tell she was just knowing that she was getting under her skin. And I would have done the same thing. Like, you that mad, I'm going to continue to make you mad. But Janisha, she ends up moving on to Dani and Draya. They sitting there crying. And the audience is still popping it in the 3Ds, which is Dani, Diamond, and Draya. They bothered, screaming and yelling at the audience. I'm like, they got y'all that riled up. Like, it's because it's true. Y'all know it is. But Janisha ends up asking why they're crying when Joseline was going off on Envi. And the audience Dani ends up saying because the people do the same thing about them, or do the same thing that Envi was doing to them, which I start laughing because I'm like, is she talking about me? Because y'all know Envi being not Envi. Dani was in my comments earlier in the season, but she has not reappeared. She said that I would have liked her by the end of the season, and it's, as y'all know, no. But I'm like, is she talking about me too? But, like, stop worrying about what they say about you. But then again, to a certain degree, you need to look inside. But the audience is booing them. Draya gets up screaming, saying, they're mad, as she's screaming at the top of her lungs. So who is really mad? Who's really mad? But the audience, they're drowning her out with booze at this point, to the point where she has to scream even louder. That had me hollering, because they got louder as she got louder. And they, of course, more voices going to drown out one, screaming. They start chanting, we don't care, we don't care. When I tell you I about fell out, Movie Bay and Legend know, and Jan does too. But they saw it. Movie Bay was laughing. I was laughing. That shit had me hollering. But Dani's sitting there crying, because you could tell she bothered by it too. But Joseline ends up asking the audience, why do they hate Dani and Draya so much? Everybody starts talking at the same time in the audience. So everybody got an opinion. But Dani, not Dani. Yeah, Dani, she gets up crying, talking about she don't give a fuck. I said, but you sitting here crying. You don't give a fuck, but you crying about the audience. But Draya ends up saying that they're mad because we're regular girls from the strip club and they're here and we're not. I said, or because we're here and they're not. They're not, I guarantee you they're not bothered by that. Like, they don't like you because of the way that you act on TV. But Janisha ends up saying, let's go get some opinions. So she goes over to one of my favorites that was in the audience. I think my actual favorite from the audience, the red hair girl. And she ends up saying, don't nobody like them because they always crying and whining and quick to jump somebody. That. Joseline then asked another audience member she gave them the most unabrasive response. Like, she made it a point to pretty much say, like, I'm not trying to come at y'all like that, but this is what it is. And she ends up saying, like, it's not that I don't like them, but they're just performative, which is true. Like, they get on here doing the most. It's not natural. It's not normal. And she says that we're just over the act and they don't have to be crying all the time. And Draya is screaming, you don't know what we've been through? I said she was respectfully checking you. She didn't say anything that warranted all that screaming. But the audience member then continues and says, that's why I'm open-minded. Y'all are too small to be bullies, but I think most of these girls can beat y'all asses. But another audience member, she is from Compton. She was the one that was the real. She was the realest one. She said all that victim shit is fake. I said, and it is. She said, y'all are too young, but also too old to be acting the way y'all be acting, and all that crying and shit, stop. She said, and learn how to fight, because y'all can't fight. Y'all always talking, and you ain't whooped nothing. ISIS whooped your ass. I said, exactly. And Dani sitting there, or not Dani, Draya mad. ISIS got up twerking, and Joseline goes to ISIS and asks her, would she like to go one-on-one with Draya? Because Draya had choked her out and almost made her pass out. ISIS said, no, she didn't. But ISIS ends up saying that her and Draya had squashed it, but her and Dani can run it. Dani don't want to get up. That's the thing. That's how it was in the house. Dani didn't want to get off that couch because just like she did in the house. Draya got out there with ISIS. I will say that. But Dani, She didn't want it with Isis unless she had to jump. That's the only time she fought her is when she jumped her on that bus. Y'all remember when Dani and Isis fought in front of the house, or in that downstairs by the stairs in the house when they fought, and Dani was running that mouth, but she stood on the side when Isis tagged Draya up. She don't want it with her. But the audience, no wait, I missed it. Hold on. Dani ends up saying, "Fuck you, hoe. See you next year. Audition again, bitch." I said, "You just don't want to get your ass whooped." Like, that's what it is. But the audience starts booing her punk ass. And Isis gets up and says, "It was a misunderstanding between me and Draya, and I was pretty much joking about the wig the first night." Y'all remember the first episode, which feels like so long ago. Oh my God, when I just thought about it, I'm like, damn, that was a while ago. She apologizes if she offended Draya. Draya says, like, it was a vulnerable moment. I was just defending myself and my friend. Isis said, "Yeah, like I told y'all, I understand it, but I also understand what the fans are saying. And I'm more so on their side," which you should be. But Draya ends up talking about how, like, that's cool, but you felt the way you felt, and that's how you felt. Isis said, "So y'all don't want to scrap? Like, you don't want to scrap?" I don't know if you scared or not, but I don't know what it is. Draya's talking about, "You talking about me?" Isis is like, "No, I'm talking about Dani." I'm like, "Yeah, because she's scared." But the audience is booing because Dani don't want to fight unless it's wet. But I don't know if y'all understand that. But Dani was so quick to jump on wet. But when Isis is pressing you, don't. Yeah, okay, we know. But Draya, she's sitting there talking about how Dani is done. No, she's not. Tell her to shut up then. The audience is booing her and Draya. They get up. Draya starts screaming, bothered again, talking about something. She's not here to impress them. You are. Because what you did later on, you thought she was going to impress somebody doing that. But they're trolling her. And she is bothered. She's the bait. Like, she is taking the bait. But Draya, she ends up saying that she was a normal girl that was in school and at the strip club, and she met Joseline, yada, yada, yada. Talking about all that stupid shit. Saying that she felt Joseline's playing firsthand. Blah, blah, blah. Just talking a bunch of stupid shit. But Janisha ends up saying, like, maybe take into consideration what the fans are saying. Show your genuine side and stop being performative. As Dani is sitting there slapping them bones, and I'm saying slapping them bones because she's slapping her vagina. But you know she ain't nothing but skin and bones. That's a little girl. But Janisha, she ends up saying, like, stop tag teaming and jumping because they probably would respect you more if you stood on your own business. I said, clock it, Janisha. Thank you. But Joseline co-signs it and says, like, I also feel like Janisha is super neutral with everybody, which she is. And for her to be saying this is big, and I agree, y'all need to fight y'all's own battles because it's annoying that y'all always jumping. Talk about it, Joseline. But she says, like, we all know that y'all are friends, but, like, for real. But Draya and Dani, they didn't decide to fight. Talking about something, y'all want to see this? This is what y'all want to see? The way they was fighting, absolutely not. Nasheed, one of my best friend, if he ever decided to do that with me, he already know we would not be friends. Deontay, any of y'all. Ass whooping. Any of my boys that would even try to punch me, it's up. The way they was fighting, absolutely not. Absolutely. Legend, ass whooping. Even though me and Legend be joking all the time about fighting. Legend is just like me, and Legend will get in these comments and say the same thing. If we was to fight, we would not be friends. Like, it don't make no sense. But Draya, she, like I said, Draya got locked up. Dani got locked up. Draya was locking her shit, like, yoking her up to the point where she gets up and she crying and shit. Talking about something, is that what y'all want to see? Y'all want to see my friends fight? Everybody is like, what the fuck is going on? Like, everybody looks so confused. Everybody looked like, damn, why did y'all do that? Like, nobody wanted y'all to fight each other. And she's now apologizing to Dani because Dani looks shook and sitting there crying. The audience is still booing. And Draya is saying, like, y'all forcing it. The audience wasn't forcing y'all to fight. Y'all are just weird. Like, that's weird. But Draya starts screaming, saying the audience is acting like she won't go heads up with anybody. No, they're not. They're pretty much stating y'all like to jump. Just fight by yourself. Like, there's no reason for you to jump in your friend's fight unless she is getting jumped. Period, point blank. If you want to break it up, is she getting her ass beat? Absolutely. But jumping in a fight that is a one-on-one, that's all y'all do. That's why people have an issue with y'all. But Rosé ends up saying, like, but why would you fight Dani? Draya ain't got no answer for it. Because why? You only doing it because you want to please the audience, which is embarrassing. But Janisha ends up saying, don't nobody want to see y'all fight. Everybody co-signs it. Isis says, y'all are weird for fighting your friends to try and prove a point to somebody. I said exactly. But Joseline is crying because she don't like seeing it. Isis is like, man, fuck them. Don't cry. They weird ass hoes. They are. But she ends up saying like she don't like that. And Draya ends up saying that's what y'all want. Audience is reacting. Joseline said nobody wants that. Like, we want y'all to stick up for yourself. But Draya, she ends up saying that we do, but y'all keep ignoring it and y'all keep trying to press us. I said, shut up. Nobody was pressing y'all on the show. Y'all was the ones instigating shit. Like, that's what it was. But Dani, she's running her mouth, and Isis says, shut the fuck up before I run over there and hit you. And Dani's still running that mouth. Isis gets up, and guess who stands in front of Dani? Draya, doing exactly what they told you not to do for the last 10, 15 minutes. And Des and Erica get up too, because at this point, now it's like on some 2-on-1 shit, so we're going to get up too. So Janisha ends up telling Draya, let her fight her own battles. Exactly. Because she running that mouth, and if you keep running that mouth, you're going to get popped in it. So you need to move. But she's standing over there, protecting her, saying she's not fighting, she's not fighting. Isis said, then shut the fuck up. And Dani is still talking. Isis then tries to go over there and hit her, and then tries to flip Draya, because Draya's in the way at this point. So at this point, if you don't move, you're going to get hit. So she tries to flip her. Then Dani, of course, now wants to start trying to fight because Isis is now on Draya. Punk ass shit. But they start jumping. Erica, of course, she the first one flying over there, which I respect Erica for. Because Erica be dying. She be feigning the fight. Dez is over there trying to fight too. Security's pouncing. Randomly, Erica and Jayla, they get to fighting again. Both of them swinging. But Jayla was duping her and her shit. Duping her. Just because Erica was fighting in slow-mo at one point. Maybe she was tired because she just got finished jumping on that fight. Jumping around with security, trying to get away from them. And then she gets in there. Erica liked to fight, but Jayla is not her match. Well, Jayla is her match. Because Jayla been tearing her up. Like, she ain't won a fight with Jayla yet. But Janisha ends up asking them to sit down. Joseline said that she wants to speak to the fan favorites because we ain't got to talk to nobody yet. Neek, which I'm so happy, she did not fight. I don't know who said she fought for 5 times. Where did you see it? Because she ain't fight at all. She ain't fight at all. But she comes up and Joseline's talking about how Neek had a bone to pick with Raven, but she left the building. And she ends up saying, "Do you have anything you want to say to her, Oompa Loompa ass?" Joseline's a trip. But Neek says, like, she just basically wanted her to publicly apologize to her. Like, they've been on tour and everything, having conversations, but she feel like she should publicly apologize. And if she don't, it's going to be some shit. And which we now know, I think it might have been a month ago now when they was on live, she apologized publicly. So it is what it is. Joseline ends up telling Neek that she's one of her favorite ladies, no matter what, as you should say. You already know that's my favorite. Janisha ends up saying that they were talking about how Neek was disrespectful all season long and asked Joseline if she wanted to comment on it. She pretty much says Neek just likes to have fun, but she is a superstar. She loves dancing next to Neek, having Neek right there on her left side, having Rosé on that right side. That's why they mad. That's why they was mad the whole season. But she ends up saying, she said she gets emotional because, oh yeah, did she say she gets emotional or she getting emotional? Regardless, she ends up saying they do their best every single night on the tour, no matter what's going on off the show or off the stage, 3 to 4 times a night. Yeah, she is crying. And she said, I gave about 90% of the girls a chance to be on tour with me. And it's a lot. And as we've seen, it's been when I thought about this, when the show first started, I thought it was going to be a pretty tacky produced tour. But Joseline has done her big one, truthfully. Like, the tour looks good. Like I said, they have so many outfit changes. They've been bringing on surprise guests. I saw recently Joseline had one of her male dancers on the show with them. They go to different cities, different shows, different venues, different fits. People coming out too. Like, lots of people are coming out. So Joseline's doing her big one. This season has been super successful for her. But Rosé, she's crying, saying that people don't know how hard it is to dance next to bitches that you don't fuck with. Which is true. Like, you got to be professional. But Rosé says she wishes the fans got to see the Dani and Draya that they see because they're not like what they are on TV. I said, and Neek ends up confirming it. I said, that's exactly what the audience was saying. They were saying that they just be performative. They're not being themselves. If they were being themselves, they might actually be likable. But this performing and this shit that they're doing, it's annoying. But Neek ends up pulling Draya and says that I fuck with her. Draya sitting there twerking and says that Neek says that Dani and her have a love-hate relationship. Better than me. Because Dani would get stomped. Seth Rollins style. That's stomped. But Joseline is loving on Neek. Joseline also then brings Kay over, who looks absolutely amazing. I'm glad we finally got to see her because we didn't really get to see her. But Joseline brings her over and tells her and Janisha to stand next to each other. They both got these gold fits on that look exactly alike. And Kay's getting emotional. She's sitting there crying. And Janisha asks her why she's crying. And she's like, I'm mad everybody keeps fighting. And she says it's supposed to be done. Like, y'all are on tour now. Like, drop it. Kay grew on me. She grew on me. Y'all remember when I used to call her Jigsaw, but she grew on me. But Joseline ends up saying that Envi, to Erica Envi, when she fought Kay, she was an evil bitch for punching her in the face the way she did. And Erica's like, well, we made up. That's my boo. And Kay sitting there smiling. Erica said, we definitely made up. I said, oh, y'all probably fucked. Erica be getting her some. There's no shortage over there. She be getting her some. But Janisha, she ends up asking for Kay's overall thoughts. And she pretty much says, like, life is short. It's too short for y'all to be beefing like this. If y'all got beef, fight it out, get over it. Some things you can get over. Some things you can't. But Joseline ends up saying her final words and her final thoughts. And she says, I've grown so much, worked so hard, and I want to have another baby. And I want y'all to run the cabaret. They get up and start hugging her and everything. So good for her. But they do final thoughts. And the girls give Joseline her flowers for giving them the opportunity. She's receptive. You can tell she's just really taking it all in. She smiled after every single person, including Queen Envi. Damn, these names. This is probably episode 20 now, including the episodes before. We've been talking about this for a while. But the girls, they give Joseline her flowers. Like I said, Rosé, she starts on hers. And Hennessyy ends up telling her to shut up. Says, you ain't coming back for season 6, bitch. And they start going back and forth. Rosé gets up saying that she's so obsessed with me, she can't stop. Hennessyy says, so what you gonna do about it? Rosé stands there like, come on. Hennessyy meets her in the middle and they start fighting. Hennessyy finally beats Rosé finally beat Hennessyy's ass, and she was punching and connecting. Before they even got to the ground, she was pop, pop, pop. Once they got on the ground, bop, bop, bop. To the point where Hennessyy is biting her nose. Bit the shit out of her nose where she is leaking. Disgusting. Grimy. I get it when you fighting all fair on love and war, but that is crazy. That's a different type of hate. That is crazy. She would have had to get stomped out for that. Hennessyy would have had to have gotten stomped out. When I tell you stomped out, smushed down, twisting my foot on that face. That's crazy. But they finish. They do the final thoughts. Wet is the one I want to talk about the most. She gets emotional talking about how she felt when Joseline had attacked her for dusting her and pretty much said, like, I didn't mean to do it like that. And Joseline gives her a hug, and I love that moment for them. But Neek, she wraps it up. Joseline ends up trying not to yawn, which made me laugh because it's like, they probably, because Zeus, they film these reality shows at like, 1, 2 in the morning, and that shit goes till like probably 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. So I can understand why she was trying not to yawn, because she probably was tired. But Joseline ends up wrapping it, giving her thanks to Janisha, giving her flowers as she should. And you could tell she was doing it in this moment because you know how the CEO don't appreciate her, how he be doing her. And I felt like Joseline did that intentionally because of that type of shit. Yes, she's close to Janisha and everything, but I felt like she really wanted to do that in that moment to give her flowers and let her know how appreciative she is and how appreciated she is. So I love that. But she shouts out her winners, brings them all to the stage, and the audience claps it up for them. And that is a wrap for season 6, y'all. That is a wrap. Y'all let me know what y'all's thoughts are down below. Thumbs up the video. Subscribe if you are new here. Leave a comment down below. We are on the road to 10K. Again, I want to thank y'all so much for being here with me this season. It has been fun. It's been worth the 20-something episodes every Sunday the last 4 months. I got to meet some of y'all, talk to y'all. Y'all my friends now. Y'all my friends and my family, and I appreciate y'all for being here with me. It is 10 o'clock. The double show Sunday is wrapped for now, but I will see y'all tomorrow on the live if y'all rock in, and I'll see y'all then. We can talk about it then too. Peace.